Hey everyone, I'm Lizzie and this is Lizzie Reads and welcome to my No Disclaimers book tag. I was tagged in this like a month ago by Mel from Mel's Bookland Adventures. I'll link her video and channel down below. And I just haven't got around to it yet. I keep saying, oh, I'm going to do that video next and then I'll do another video beforehand. I don't know why I keep doing that. So sorry about the erratic posting, but I hope you enjoy the video. Just to start, I am quite a positive reviewer, like in terms of books. Like I do have I tend to rate my books quite positively and think on the more positive side, but however I do have some strong opinions and I do get quite easily annoyed. So also this tag was made by Catalyst Read, so I'll link that down below. Number 1, which trope or tropes in books annoy you the most? I think I'm going to have to say insta-love and absent parents. I know that's, well, absent parents does, I don't know if that really counts, but I know a lot of people say this, but I find insta-love's just so cringy. Insta attraction, I think, is something different. So like in like a YA book, when they're attracted really instantly and like they start to like get all these like twee feelings, like sometimes like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But like falling in love, like I can't be, I don't know. There's a very fine line between, oh, this is cute and this is really annoying. And also, I find this quite a lot in YA novels. I just can't stand when there's no parents, because I like reading about like how parents react to certain situations and how parents like are involved in their children's lives and how that affects them, because I find that really interesting. But other than that, I can't really think of anything like off the top of my head. I should have really thought about this one beforehand a bit more. Number 2, which writers do you feel are overrated or overhyped? Well, I wouldn't say this writer's overhyped. I feel very similar to Mel did, as she mentioned in her videos, that like it's not so much that they're overhyped, it's just they're not for me, because obviously if people are enjoying their work then that's fine, and that's great. But usually, like, of what I've read so far, I've not really gelled with Ali Smith. But saying that, I'm reading Autumn right now. You can see my train ticket bookmark, and I've actually been enjoying it so far, but we'll see. I kind of think a lot of books I think are overhyped tend to be books that sort of like gone over my head a little bit. I might film a video discussing this, because I think quite a lot of books like I think I don't understand, or like they just sort of literally just go over my head. They're just not for me in the moment or the time, and like that doesn't make me a bad reader. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I don't really gel with Ali Smith usually. And also, I'm not like a huge Tolkien fan. I really like the stories and I really enjoyed the films and I enjoyed reading the books, but they were such a slog to get through. Like the writing style just wasn't for me. Number 3, what are your least favourite books that you've read since joining BookTube? Since I started watching BookTube, the least favourite book that I've read is A Little Life by Hannah Yanagaria. But I read this knowing that Mercedes didn't like it, and I watched her video and I was like, I'm really interested to see what happens so I can see if I like it or not. So I went and got it, knowing that she didn't like it. So I didn't get it off of like a good recommendation, so I don't know if that really counts. I'll link that video, her review of it, down below. Yeah, I really didn't gel with that book. Like I can see why some people like it, but for me it was a little bit too much. Like I thought the writing was really nice, really interesting, and but just for such a massive book, I thought it was just a bit extreme, if you ask me. It made it feel a little bit unrealistic. And as well as that, a book I read recently in my last wrap up, I said I just wasn't getting on with. I DNF'd it once and then went back to it. I had to read it for uni, and that is Midnight's Children by Salman Rushdie. And I wasn't a fan. It wasn't for me. I find it really difficult to talk about books that I don't like, because I over exaggerate quite a lot. So I'll be like, I hate this book, but I didn't hate it. Like I didn't think it was like shit, or like I didn't think it was bad in a sense, but it just wasn't for me. Like I didn't enjoy it. Like I found it slog sort of thing, that sort of thing. Now for number 4, I don't actually have an answer. I've got a terrible ending which ruined an otherwise quality book. Now I can't think of anything that like I didn't enjoy the ending of. Like I can think of a few things where the ending was like less than my favourite. Or I can think of a few things where the ending was like less than desirable. But I can't think of anything where it ruined the whole book. I'm gonna have to pass out on this question. I'm really not very good at this. Tag am I at all? 5. Which fictional characters do you wish were not killed off? Now, Harry Potter spoilers coming ahead, because I can't think of anything else other than Harry Potter for this question. So many fictional deaths that broke my heart. So we've got Sirius, Fred, Remus, Tonks. We've got them all. I'm gutted. I was gutted. Absolutely heartbreaking. And I don't think I wish they never killed off Dumbledore, but there was a time on holiday last year. I was a little bit hungover on my sunbed. I was listening to the Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince audiobook, and I got to the end and I was just weeping because I was almost hysterical. I was crying that much, and I'd read it maybe at least 10 times by this point. So I don't really know what was going on there, probably the hangover. Oh, but it just got me. They just get me, they do, with those deaths, those fictional deaths. I want Colin Creevy. Gutting, absolute gutting that is. 6. What are some bookish pet peeves? Now this I can definitely tell you about. I can't deal with awkward situations in books. I mentioned it when I spoke about Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine by Gail Honeyman. I'll link that down below. I just can't deal with awkward situations. I can't deal with it in TV. Like extremely awkward situations. Like sometimes I'm watching Friends and something awkward's happening and they're embarrassing themselves so much. I get such secondhand embarrassment. We don't get embarrassed when I do things that are really embarrassing, which is all the time apparently, according to my friends and family. But I just get such secondhand embarrassing reading about it in fictional situations because I'm like, this just doesn't need to happen. Like I cringe inwardly and I can't deal with it. I'm like skimming the pages because I just don't want to read about it happening. I can't stand it. But it's not so much like I hate this, but it's just not for me. It's literally not for me. Also, I can't deal with it when teens make the most stupid and reckless decisions. Like, why are all teenagers in YA books like really reckless and really like out there and like, well, I know there's a lot of in more recent years about more sort of introverted teenagers, which is great. But I just can't fucking cope with it. I just can't cope with. I get so annoyed when these teenagers make the most stupid decisions. I just can't deal with it. A lot of these things are to do with actual YA books because that's where I find I critique the most. Like I read. I feel like I'm really coming into my reading stride in the last couple of years. So I'm really reading like new books and I'm like pleased with a lot of the books I'm reading because they're all very new to me in terms of like adult books. So I haven't read many adult books that I don't really like. A lot of the books I don't like are teenage books because I've been reading them for longer. Like YA books obviously. So I've been reading them for longer, so I feel like I have more, I can critique them more. Whereas with adult books, like, not that they're new to me, like I've been reading adult books for like 4 or 5 years now. But like I'm really starting to find like my stride with them, like especially because I'm reading so much more than I used to. Like last year I read 102 books and the year before I read 50. So like every year like my reading's like increasing. And like this year like I'm on track. Like if I keep up the reading pace that I am, I'm going to read like 125. So like I'm really like increasing. I know this is a complete sidetrack, I'm so sorry. And I keep looking at myself in the thing in my phone instead of looking at the camera because I forget that the camera's there. I might need to like put a bit of blue tack there so I look at it. So sorry about that if that's really annoying for you. I find that like I've got less to critique about adult books, whereas YA books, like although I get really sucked into them, I can like see their problems. So like I read Everything by Nicola Yoon last year, and although I was really sped through it, like literally I read it on a plane journey that was like a few hours, and I enjoyed it. it was just so predictable. Like, I was like, either, I was a bit like, because in that story, she's the main character, she's got this, like, she's allergic to everything, and I was like, either she's gonna die when she goes, because like it's sort of alluded to that she eventually goes outside, either she's gonna die, which would be really realistic, and I'd be like, oh shit, that was really sad, she shouldn't have gone outside, or she's not allergic to everything. And should I say a spoiler? Because is it kind of obvious to you guys? Sorry, guys. Well, it's a no disclaimers book tag. I'm not doing any disclaimers. I don't know I've gone off on a complete rant, but I just, things like that. Like, she's making the most stupid decision by going outside. Literally the most stupid decision. I'm like, you're an idiot. You're going outside for a boy. Tit. What else annoys me? Also, it really annoys me when characters mistreat their friends. Like, I understand, like, making like a few mistakes and then having to apologise for them, because, you know, like, in a lot of books, like, people are going through trying times, and like, your friends, like, they often take the brunt of it. But like, some people, like, really mistreat their friends, and it's terrible. It's terrible. 7. What are some books you feel should have more recognition? And I am going to go for 2 books here, and the first one I think is quite popular. I've seen a few people talk about it on BookTube, but not many, and that's The Particular Sadness of Lemon Cake by Amy Bender. And I'm sure, like, quite a few people have read this, but I don't think it gets talked about very much, and it's one of my favourite books of all time. It is about a young girl, and she develops the ability, so to speak, it's magical realism, to taste how the person who has made her food is feeling. So there's this one bit how this cookie, and she talks about through the layers of taste, and she says that, like, the bits that were made in a factory, she can taste how mechanical they were, and then she says, but essentially because the baker who made them, he was tight and, like, he was really angry. She describes this cookie to be tight and angry. She can taste it, and it really turns her life upside down. She's a very young girl. I think she might be like 8 or 9 at the time, and it really turns her life upside down because she realises that her mother's unhappy in her marriage to the protagonist's father. So that's really interesting, and it's just a wonderful read. I might read it again soon because I'm writing, like, this is quite like a large basis for my dissertation, and this is like my main inspiration. And then is another book I've spoken about recently, and that is Regeneration by Pat Barker. Now, I haven't read the second and the third one yet, but I'm getting to those soon, and I think this might really interest a lot of people because it is historical fiction, but it is based on the lives of some war poets that we might be quite familiar with, such as Siegfried Sassoon, Wilfred Owen, Robert Graves. They are in this story, and it's set in sort of, basically, it's set in Craiglockhart, a war hospital, where they treated soldiers that had come away from war. So the war, First World War was still going on, and they were trying to rehabilitate them, and they have PTSD, quite a lot of them, and it really explores that theme. It's really quick and it's really easy to get through in terms of engagement, but it's really tough, and it's got some really like, got some really horrible description in there, which is good. Like, it's really gruesome, but it's really good. Like, it's really descriptive. It really plays with your imagination, and it's very topical in terms of things that are going on at the time. So yeah, I really like that, and I really recommend that. And number 8 is, what are your thoughts on censorship and banning books? I don't think any book should be banned because I believe in everyone sharing thoughts and ideas, except obviously hate speech. So as Mel mentioned in her video, Mein Kampf, that obviously in terms of that, like, it becomes a different situation. But I think most books shouldn't be banned. I think people should be open-minded, like even to things I personally disagree with, as long as they're not promoting hate speech and pushing forwards the ideas of mistreating people, like for example in terms of non-fiction, I think it's fine for all books to be read and shared, critiqued. Sorry if the angle's changed at all. I had to take my phone off of the stack of books it's rested on. I'll just jump in straight into question 9, and that is, who do you tag? And I tag my lovely friend Victoria Wilton. She's got, I think that's how I pronounce her last name. I've never said it before. That's really weird. She's been on YouTube for a while, but she does bookish and arty videos. But she's just started up again, so I'm going to link her channel down below, and I tag her to do that, so she gets that done soon. Well, sooner than I did, because I got tagged in this video a month ago. But thank you for watching, guys. I really appreciate any likes or comments, anything you got to say. Sorry that I wasn't as, well, I got a bit ranty in the middle there, but I'm not as no disclaimers as maybe some of the other videos you might have watched with this tag, because I tend to be on the more positive side when it comes to books, because I've been reading some good books recently. I just haven't got any books in my head that I think are a bit shit or need ranting about. Now I really am chatting shit, so I'm gonna go now. Yeah, thanks for watching if you made it this far. Bye guys.